I'd like to call to order the Westmont Village Board meeting of August 20th, 2015 at 6 o'clock p.m. And I'd ask Clerk Simsky for a roll call, please.
Mayor Gunther?
Here.
The clerk's here. Trustee Addington?
Here.
Trustee Barker?
Here.
Trustee Barry?
Here.
Trustee Guzzo?
Here.
Trustee Little? Here. Trustee Nero?
Here.
Manager May?
Here.
And the lovely Attorney Perez.
Here.
Would everybody please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and I'd like to welcome everybody tonight. And first one is open forum. And I asked previously, I don't think anybody's here for an open forum, so I'll close open forum and move on to reports. And the first report, of course, is the mayor, and it's always a pleasure when we're swearing in a new officer. And I'd ask Chief if he could please come to the podium.
Thank you, Mayor. Standing to my right and with me is probationary officer Tyler Sage. Tyler began with the police department 2 weeks ago. And if we could, Mayor, if you could swear him in to have him take the oath of office.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Tyler Sage,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the laws of DuPage County,
the laws of DuPage County,
the Westmont Village Code of Ordinances,
the Westmont Code of Village Ordinances,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of a Westmont police officer
the duties of a Westmont police officer
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Welcome to Westford.
Congratulations.
Did you tell him about the 5-minute talk he's got to give?
Welcome. There's one other item we must do before we get to the
Congratulations.
flag.
Nice.
Congratulations.
So it's no longer probation.
Officer Sage is, my looking at, is out of uniform. And if I could call his fiancee Jill up to have him be properly attired, she's going to pin his badge on. And if she draws blood, we have 2 medics in the back. Want to join me over here by the podium? Mayor, I did ask Tyler to, I do this all the time, I don't tell them they're going to have to talk, but they kind of know they have to. So Tyler will tell us a little bit about himself. I can tell you that Tyler went through an extensive testing process offered by the Westmont Board of Fire and Police Commissioners, one of which is here, Commissioner Vince Musial, and Chairman Robert Cavanda, and Secretary Joseph Ferencrek couldn't be here tonight. Tyler was part of a testing process that included close over, Vince, over 200 applicants, I believe. And we are very proud to have him here. Tyler is let him talk. I was trying a little bit, he said I'm stealing his thunder. So I will tell him, and I will say one good thing is that he is getting married in the month of September. And we were able to, we were nice enough to give him the weekend off. So I'd like to introduce Officer Tyler Sage.
Okay, so as the chief mentioned, Tyler Sage. Give you a little background on myself. Joined the Marine Corps when I was 18 years old. Did 6 years in the Marine Corps Reserves. One tour to Iraq. From there, went to college, Illinois State University. Got my bachelor's degree, criminal justice. Then from there, worked in Cook County Juvenile Detention Center. I was started out as a youth development specialist, basically a counselor there, and then went to the rapid response team. And then got a offer of employment from the city of Chicago, went to the academy there, and along the way, this opportunity opened itself up, and I took full advantage of it. So I'm really excited to be here. We live in the area, Jill and I. We're looking to find a house and stick around this area. So I'm really happy to be here, and I'm very fortunate. So I look forward to my career here and, all the challenges that come with the profession. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Also in the room is Tyler's field training officer, Tim Radke. They've been together for the last 2 weeks. Tim will be his first FTO, and it will be the last one for his last evaluation. That field training program will be about 14 to 16 weeks. So he will be with, Tyler with be another officer for that time period. And after that, he'll be out in the car by himself, protecting our citizens. So on behalf of that, I want to say congratulations and thank you, Mayor.
All right. Well,
Most importantly, after the meeting, there's cake and coffee in the ante room for.
thank you, Chief. Another item I have, and it involves both chiefs, Chief Mulhern and Chief Weiss. A Local Heroes Blood Drive, and I asked Gwendolyn Westland if she could come up to the podium with them and talk about this exciting event that's tomorrow.
Hello, long time no see.
I know, right? Hi, I'm Gwendolyn Westland. For those of you who don't know me or don't know about the local blood drive I'm hosting, it's tomorrow. I'm a cancer survivor and heart transplant recipient, and I personally needed 30 units of blood to save my life. So this is something that's extremely important and personal for me. The Local Heroes Blood Drive is, we've called it that because we're encouraging and hoping for a lot of participation, and luckily we're getting that participation from village employees, the school district, chiefs of police, and chief of the fire department and their staff. I'm sorry? Village manager. I know. Sorry, he's whispering behind me. Obviously, the village manager and mayor, thank you for your support. I appreciate it. The event is tomorrow from 1 to 7, and thanks to the generosity of the Village of Westmont and the Westmont Park District, it's being held at 75 East Richmond at the Park District building there in the gym. We're expecting a good turnout. Walk-ins are still welcome. Certainly, anyone can come. If you're not sure that you can donate, you can call ahead or you can stop in and we'll quickly assess and let you know if you can or not. It takes about 30 minutes or less to donate, and you'll be saving multiple lives every time you donate. The supply is very low in the area at the moment, so I do really encourage and implore everyone who can to please come out and donate blood. We've got some great incentives as well. We've got the Chicago Bears supporting with Bring a Fan to the Blood Drive. So that's something new that's been added, and you'll be able to fill out an entry to win a multitude of prizes, including VIP suite tickets to the opening game, and about five other games that are on the list, as well as an autographed football. So it's a good incentive. We also have Culver's Give a Pint, Get a Pint. So you'll get a pint of Culver's custard from Darien, and you'll also get a free t-shirt. And I will personally be there to hold anybody's hands that need it, so no crying. Anyways, I thank you for your time, and just again, please come out and support it. You can be a hero very easily, no cape required. So I'd also like to invite the village manager, Steve May, to come up with the chiefs of police and chief of the fire department, so I can just give you a little certificate of gratitude. This is actually on behalf of Recycled Life and Life Source Blood Bank to acknowledge and appreciate your participation and efforts in supporting the blood drive.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You guys are awesome.
Hold just how many times to tell people? Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you for all your hard work. For those who may not met Gwendolyn before, when she puts her mind to something, it gets done. Yeah. So again, that's tomorrow at the Community Center at 75 East Richmond. If you want to donate, go use the back door. So, there's no front door right now. Couple other mayor items on the 31st of August at 7 p.m. We're going to have a chat with the chiefs and coffee with the mayor at Sweet and Savory, which is at, I don't know the official address, but it's 40 North Cass and 31 North Cass. And everyone's welcome, 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock. Both chiefs will be there to talk about items such as back-to-school safety, things you can do at home for fire prevention, as well as answering any other questions. So everybody's welcome to attend. My last item, again, at a sorry note, deepest sympathy to the Fleck family. They lost Bob Fleck, who is the assistant director at the Park District, and the Fleck family, who's born and raised here in Amasta, lives here. They lost Cindy in a tragic car accident. So she was 46. So our deepest sympathy to that family. Again, I'll move on then to Clerk Simsky.
And we had a public information meeting tonight, and we will try to keep everybody abreast of all the activities that will be coming up in the future. But right now, I'm just going to finish out August on next week. Well, this week and next week are our last two street fairs. So we're going to hurry our meeting tonight, and everybody turn off your TV and already go out there because it's a beautiful night. And we're going to hurry through this meeting as quickly as we can so we can all get out and join too. And tonight is motorcycle night, and next Thursday night is anything goes. So take advantage, it's the last 2 weeks. And also on Friday, August 28th at 6:30 p.m., there will be a concert in the Westmont Public Library parking lot. So everybody can go out and dance and sing and have a good time there. And I'm with the mayor. I just want to give my condolences to the Fleck family. It's a very sad event. We're all very fond of that family, so real sorry that happened. That's
Okay,
all.
thank you. We'll move to the attorney.
The only thing I wanted to mention was that item 8A tonight, the actual reading indicates that it's ordinances, but we've prepared all of the items, the 3 items, on one ordinance, and it's relatively short. That's why we left it at one ordinance.
Okay.
That's the only change, and I have nothing else. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Manager May.
Mayor, just one item. We previously talked about the interest in having joint meetings with other public entities, whether it's Park District, Westmont Special Event Corp., and other agencies that we used to do periodically, and we're a little overdue on that. And I've put together and I've pulled the village board, and it's, although these are not firm dates, but it's looking very likely that on September 9th, we'll have a joint meeting with the Westmont Park District. I'm told that their park board has heard that information, and it seems like a good date, so that one's pretty confident. And then the very next evening, Westmont Special Events Corp., our information looks good, but we haven't sent that invite out to them yet, so they'll be polled to make sure that that's a good opportunity for them as well. And I just wanted you to be aware of those dates, but we still have to firm that up, and that was all I had.
Thank you. Trustees, Trustee Barry.
I was writing down dates, sorry. I would just want to note that the Public Works Committee has been moved. The next meeting will be September 17th from 4:30 to 6:30, and I believe that'll be here in this room. That's a non-village board meeting night, so that has been moved and changed on the website. So again,
Trustee Barry?
September 17th.
Yeah, that was the original date. And it was moved to the 24th?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 24th, yes, the 17th is IML, so the 24th, I apologize, is going to be the new date. Again, that is not a village board meeting night, but the public is invited at 4:30 here. The Environmental Improvement Commission just met on August 18th. They had a guest speaker from scarce.org talking about a lot of exciting things coming, and they also have on YouTube now, she has a presentation that will be going. And the next special presentation at the EIC will be Monday, September 14th. The chef from the Hilton is going to talk about their green practices and also update on the beekeeping and the honey making program that's been going on that we're all aware of. And then, again, the EIC has so much going on, but they are working on a really fun event that's going to be a pumpkin recycling event, and it's going to be combined with the farm on 63rd, who they have a certified way to dispose of the pumpkins, that it's environmentally friendly, and we're looking to maybe put some twists on that event and make it a very fun community activity. So again, the EIC, a complete volunteer group, and they have a lot in the fire. So thanks to all their efforts, and Larry for leading that group. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Trustee Little.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a administration committee meeting next month, is October the 1st. It's in this room, so please feel free to come out. We have also done a survey by the Special Events Corporation on the street fairs that we've had every Thursday night and on the Taste of Westmont. And some of the questions are asking where you think whether it serves the village to leave it downtown or whether you think it should be moved. So we've asked a number of pointed questions asking everyone what their opinions are. And so that's up on our website. We've got over 100 respondents so far, and we're really looking for more of those so that we can bring it to the meeting on September the 9th, if that's when it happens with the village. So I encourage everyone listening and watching to go onto our website and take that survey for us. Really appreciate your input. The only way we're going to make it what you want it to be is if we hear from you. And then again, tonight is our next to last street fair, so please come out and join us for that one. Everybody's there, and it's a fun night. We have vendors there, so everybody can have a lot of activity and fun going on. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is Sunday, September 13th, there is a run for prostate cancer. The Prostate Cancer Foundation of Chicago has a building on Pasquinelli, and they're going to be doing a run there. So it's a really good event to come out to. It's a 5K run or walk. And if you want to register early, for adults, it's only $25. So the money is put to good use for cancer research. So please come out and visit us. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Trustee Addington.
Just a couple things this evening. First one, most importantly, schools start again next week. I believe between Holy Trinity, Marker, and District 201, between Monday and Wednesday, all our schools, all the kids will be back in, which means that they'll be off the streets during the day, but when you're going to work, they're not going to school. So please be careful, everybody, when you're out there, when you're traveling, because that means our kids are doing the same thing. And a lot of them bike and a lot of them walk when the weather's still good. So watch our kids as they go back to school. I know that I've already talked to several of the kids, including my own, in my neighborhood, and it's a mixed bag. Most of them want to keep summer longer. And the other thing is, tonight, the Westmont Lions Club is sponsoring our hearing screening. Our hearing bus is here, and it's at the corner of Irving and Cass, and if you want to have your hearing screened to see if there's any problems, it's free. Go on down or drag your husband down, as I said before, and have your hearing screened, and we'll refer you on if we think we see a problem. And again, also my condolences to Bob and his mom and the Fleck family. That is a great family. You've been in this town for, heck, I've known them almost as long as I've been here. So just a crying shame for them to lose Cindy. So, and that's all I have, sir.
Thank you. All right. Trustee Parker.
Two things this evening. The Community Development Committee met August 12th, kind of an off night, and some of the things that we were talking about there, I think, are things that the community has wanted to hear. The way the staffing is structured there, we're able to take more of our inspections on community development projects and do them in-house, which is saving the residents money and saving the businesses money as they remodel or whatever they happen to do. But because the staffing is the way it is, they're able to do much more of that work in-house rather than farm that out and pass those costs on to the residents. So that was a great thing that was going on there. And then also last night, we had a meeting with Westmont First, and two things that we were talking about. One was to bring back a residential decorating component to Halloween or Christmas, and we're trying to develop that now to see if that's viable, to bring that back and encourage neighborhoods to decorate on their block, and see if we can get that going, as well as, kind of dovetailing with the chamber and their business decorating. And then the other one was an idea that, why Westmont First is always promoting residents shopping and local businesses and thinking of Westmont First. We also want to encourage this idea of business-to-business participation, where they might have bigger buying volume, whether it's a school or a church or another business that have their needs, to have them also look at Westmont First. And we're going to look at ways through that group to promote that and bring, shine a light on it so that people will see it. Okay, that is all.
Good idea, thank you. Trustee Guzzo.
Just a few items. Our next Finance Committee meeting will be here Thursday, September 3rd at 4 p.m. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank our Public Works Street Division. As everyone is well aware, we had a very nasty storm Tuesday night. The winds were incredible, the tornado sirens were going off, and we've seen what's happened to all of our neighbors in the south and the west. But I was out at about 6 a.m. in the morning walking with my dogs, and there was a crew from the street division picking up branches that were in the public right-of-way. So I do want to thank them for getting out and getting those picked up from the sidewalks and out of the streets. In conjunction with that, I just want to remind our residents that there is a weekly brush pickup, which is being run by Waste Management, and Mayor and Manager may correct me if I'm wrong, but it's with the garbage pickup?
Yeah, it's whatever your weekly garbage collection is, it would be at that same time.
Okay, so if any residents have any brush that they do need to have picked up, please utilize that service. It is a great opportunity to get that out of the way.
At no cost.
At no cost. Thank
But
you.
we're going to ask Manager May to describe, because I've seen a lot of people have been in town a long time, they're making piles like they usually did before. Now they have to be small bundled.
Yeah, before, when the Public Works Department went and did routes and covered the entire town, we actually preferred that they were long lengths and all facing the same direction, and was very easy to run through a chipper. But because this, we do not do collection anymore, scheduled or even special collection, those don't occur through the Public Works Department. It's because Waste Management, I should say, for the months that they have landscape waste pickup. So in the winter, that would not occur. But their requirements are a little bit different. I encourage you to go on the website. I don't have them memorized, but it is smaller, it's bundled, and it's so that, a single individual can pick them up and get them in the back of the truck.
And when they say bundled, it doesn't mean wrap them, it just means they're in one little pile they can pick up and
I
throw.
believe they do want them
They prefer them, but as long as
with
one
rope
person can handle it
Person can
easily.
pick it up, yeah.
yeah, with rope or
Yeah,
string, I think.
if they're big, yes. So, thank you.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple things. First off, I'd just like to promote the next Public Safety Committee meeting, which is Thursday, September 3rd. And next, I'd like to encourage all residents to come to our Patriots Day celebration, which is September 11th at 2 p.m. at the Police Fire Facility at 500 North Cass. It's a real moving celebration each year, so please come on out. And I, too, want to commend our Public Works Department, not only for the cleanup after the storm, which was great, but just driving through town. There's a ton of things going on in this town, and I know we're managing a lot of projects, from street resurfacing to Cumner getting done to 35th Street's detention pond. The list goes on. These guys are doing a really, really good job, and it's awesome to see. We're improving things each day, and it's cool to be a part of it. One other thing, too, I wanted to thank Trustee Little for passing the word on to Sustainable Chicago Magazine. So I got a nice email yesterday from the editor, who's really excited about our Cumner project.
Oh, wonderful.
And as it is the first in the state, he's going to be doing a nice article on the village for that project. So
Good.
thank you, Trustee Little. That message getting spread around is awesome. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you.
What time does your committee meeting start on
4:30.
30?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. One quick item that inadvertently I didn't mention, that next meeting, probably on the agenda, will be the appointment of a 100th anniversary committee that I will chair. Our 100th anniversary is 6 years off. We want to begin that committee now, start planning for it. We want to do kind of a historical book. And I'm looking to have about 9 members on that committee, as well as the entire board would be able to attend. So we'll have more information on that at our next meeting. All right, moving on. Are there any items that the board would like to be removed from the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'd ask Manager May to please read our consent agenda.
Thank you. First on the consent agenda this evening are village board minutes. Board to consider approving the minutes of the village board meeting held August 6, 2015. Next is finance ordinance number 8 in the amount of $2,674,548.71. Next is the July financial report. Board to consider a motion to accept the financial report submitted for the month of July 2015. And next are purchase orders. First purchase order, Copenhagen Construction, $110,036 with respect to the 35th Street Oakwood Drive project that was going on in the Jamestown Detention Basin there. The purchase order is marked budgeted as other, and that's only because it is over the budgeted amount, but we covered those circumstances when we awarded the contract. Next purchase order, also Copenhagen Construction for $36,500. These are for, they're called change orders in here, but it's to use that contractor with those contract unit prices to take care of 3 other locations where we're putting in deep manholes, construction that we're not equipped to do in-house. So to take advantage of that, that purchase order, if I didn't say it, was $36,500 for 3 different locations, and that is why it's marked budgeted no. It's budgeted no because it is not budgeted as far as the Jamestown Detention Basin project, but it is covered under the stormwater bond that we were using. Next purchase order, Gregory Property and Development Group, $5,342.60, and that is to take care of what we call punch list items or remaining work to be done with respect to Greenleaf subdivision. Next purchase order, HD Supply Waterworks, $25,920. That is for water meter supply. Parts water meters that ultimately get reissued as part of permit construction, and then all those costs get reimbursed eventually. Next purchase order, Illinois EPA Infrastructure, $25,984.86. This has to do with a loan repayment that it was part grant, part loan to do a water main improvement project. It was very attractive, if you remember, those of you won't remember, but it was a 0% loan, and with I forgot what the percent forgiveness was, but it was a grant to pay for the certain percent of the construction, and then whatever the balance was a 0% loan to cover that. And this is the payment, number 9. Next PO, Don Morris Architect, $34,415.63. Represents building reviews and inspections for the month of July. Next purchase order, Westmont Park District, $15,000. This is a quarterly payment for the landscape maintenance services that we contract with the Park District. Next purchase order is also Westmont Park District, $8,391.95. Represents payment with respect to salary reimbursement for landscape architect services. Next purchase order, Westmont Chamber of Commerce, $24,000. That is for the Westmont Auto Mile funding. Next purchase order, DuPage Convention and Visitors Bureau, $6,000. This was the initial Actually, it was $10,000, if you recall. There was a $4,000 purchase order that's in the finance ordinance that was specifically for that one event that we'd already talked about. This is the $6,000 just to fund the pilot incentive program through the Convention and Visitors Bureau. That was discussed at Finance Committee. That's also why it says budgeted no under that item. That brings the total of purchase orders $291,591.04, which brings the total of purchase orders and finance ordinance, was it number 8? The total being $2,966,139.75. There are two proclamations. First one is the Americans with Disability Act, celebrating the 25th anniversary of the passage of that act. And finally, a proclamation for Equality Day, or to consider a proclamation celebrating Equality Day on the 95th anniversary of the passage of the 19th Amendment, securing women the right to vote. That concludes the consent agenda.
Do I have a motion to approve as read?
So moved, Addington.
Second Little.
Motion made and seconded. On the question.
Just one question on item 10. Again, you said that the 4,000, I know she had talked about $10,000, and you said $4,000 will be coming?
The items that appear as individualized purchase orders on the consent agenda are those that are in an amount that are greater than $5,000. So there is a $4,000 approval in addition to the $6,000 approval that isn't itemized out, but it is contained in that finance ordinance number 8.
Okay. And when I asked her when she was here that if they didn't use that money, what happened to it? And she didn't have an answer. She said that was a better question for somebody else. Have we determined what happens to that $10,000?
I did follow up with her, and this pilot incentive program, we can do it one of two ways, and either is fine and acceptable to them. They can hang on to the dollar amount, and they still don't expend it until whatever that event is booked, and they still coordinate through the partnership and through myself to determine its usage, and then they would apply those funds upon approval. The reason for the pilot program is to, not to avoid, but sometimes these things need a quick reaction, and to wait for a board cycle wouldn't necessarily be prudent. So that's the point of the program. The other way to do it is we just hang on to the money. You're encumbering this dollar amount by approving this purchase order, and then I can just make payments off the purchase order as the events come up and communicate with you separately, letting you know that that's occurring. Okay. So they're okay either way. Tonight, you're just encumbering that money for that purpose.
Okay. Again, I just had concern that our $10,000 becomes part of their general fund.
Yeah.
And then we don't get any.
I know that's not the intent. And it would only be events that were in Westmont. It'd only be events that we were advised and agree and participate with. And even if there was a balance at the end of the year, they hope this to be a reoccurring program every year, and then it would just be credit in the next budget.
Well, ideally, we'll use it all up because of people coming.
Hopefully.
You know,
Put more people in our hotels.
Yeah, right.
I know, Larry, do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, just to clarify, the funds would not be expended until the events occurred, and then at some point, we can expect that to be reoccurring. So, and at any given time, the village decided this wasn't working, it could always be terminated. But, it's really, the return on that investment is pretty solid, so.
Mm-hmm. Like I say, I hope we use it.
Thank you. Any additional questions?
I had one further comment that the proclamations, we created Larry's got a web page started on our website, but one of the pages where all the proclamations that are approved are on there in advance for anybody's review if they want to read it in its entirety, and then they will stay on there once they're approved. So
Are you saying you're not going to read them?
That was the hope.
Unless, of course, somebody's here and we want to make it a
Certainly.
point of it. Okay.
And if so, you would need to pull it off the consent agenda so that we
Yes.
could review it.
Any additional questions? Anybody? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Moving on, unfinished business. A, preliminary and final plat request 415 Brookside Drive. This is the one the attorney referred to. This is only one ordinance. It's a board to consider an ordinance approving the following request from the Village of Westmont to split one lot into two lots in the R3 Single Family Detached Residential District. 1, preliminary plat of subdivision request. 2, final plat of subdivision request. And 3, a waiver for subdivision stormwater detention requirements. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second Kuzo.
Motion been made and second to approve. On the question, trustees.
I'd just like to make a comment. I was actually out there this weekend looking at it. It looks really nice with the retaining wall and all the plantings and everything. Being that I've lived here all my life, I can remember what it's looked like, and it is 110% improvement. And as the plantings start to take more of a firm hold, I think it's going to be just a really nice upgrade to that whole area, so.
I agree.
Manager May.
Well, there are a couple projects all related to that, and you're talking about the St. Joseph's Creek Stream Bank Restoration Project, which just did wrap up. Before that, we had down in the detention basin, actually where this was talking about, we call it Lot 117. There was some restoration done in there a year ago with Trustee Nero's help, and got some volunteer product and help, to do some of that. But this, getting back to the Creek Restoration Project, this goes far enough back. Were you here when we had the discussion on this the first time?
I don't
That
believe
before?
so, yeah, I think.
So
It was March.
yeah, we had the, part of the bigger project was, we did not originally own that parcel. And to do the work for the Stream Bank Restoration Project involved the participation of all of the affected property owners that fronted on the creek, the 9 on the west side and then the apartment complex on the other. And with that multi-party agreement, we inherited Lot 117, and we are to take the construction costs and set up a special service area where those affected homeowners pay into that. Now, the apartment building, through a settlement, made a lump sum payment, and one of the features of that agreement was to do this subdivision, sell the parcel to help offset the costs, which would affect the total amount of what the special service area would be. So there was, we had the subdivision up before, there was concern about I'll let them speak for themselves, but regarding we're subdividing it to sell it to build another single-family home on it. It's up on the plateau, up on Brookside Drive, and that was to, to market that and offset the costs of the project. So that's what brought us to what it was. When we had it on the board last time, none of this work had been done. We were just kind of doing it in advance, and that project's all complete. We had a public meeting with the residents, in that subdivision too, regarding a variety of proposed change orders for that project, and one of them was, the value of this parcel as well. So, again, not to be speaking for anybody else, but it was pretty clear that no one else wanted to absorb the expense of not selling that parcel. And I guess I'll add one other thing just before we get started, is that there was a question about, because this is a subdivision, what's being waived is the waiver of this. I changed the wording so it says subdivision stormwater detention requirements, because our own code says that you subdivide a lot and then there's stormwater detention, but there's already detention for the entire subdivision of Sycamore Run, albeit built in the standards of whenever that was developed. So we were just waiving that requirement for the additional, but our own codes, as well as DuPage County codes, require that any new construction and any disturbance, there's stormwater management. Any single-family home on a lot that's already subdivided and available has stormwater management responsibilities, both, like I said, our code and DuPage County. So none of those are being waived. Those are all still required. It's just as it applies to the subdivision code. And maybe that wasn't clear last time, or maybe it's not seen as relevant, but there's a little bit of a difference with that.
And if I can add to that is, those special assessments for those homes, it was maxed out at $10,000, and the intent was that it would defray some of that $10,000 per home. well, that was 8 years ago, or whenever we entered an agreement, the selling of that lot's going to defray the village's share, which is well over,
Well, yeah,
I mean, it's a couple hundred.
10,000, 90,000, so the SSA would recoup a max of, let's just call it $100,000, and the project costs are in the 300,000.
Yes, and this lot then will defray some of our expense.
Right.
So, and that was the intent of it. Any additional questions from the board? From the audience? No, it's, yeah, and state your name and the floor is yours.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mark Scarlato. I'm here on behalf of the owner of 300 Elwood Court in Westmont. Standing next to me, his name is Dave, and I'm going to murder his name because I'm horrible at it. Wisnowitz. And we're here just to talk about this project that you've been discussing for a little bit. Clearly, when the homes were originally built, a system was developed, and the system involved Eagle Creek, it involved St. Joseph's Creek, and the unnamed pond that is just west of my client's home. My client's home has a 12-foot, 13-foot berm right to the west of it, which prevents water seepage into his home. It was constructed just for that purpose, and it served that purpose. The problem that we have is that now we've made changes to the system. One of the things that you've done is done the stabilization at St. Joseph's, which does look very beautiful, but has made the system much more efficient. And now there's more impermeable area in the neighborhood. So now that additional water, because of the stabilization, has inundated the unnamed pond. And we don't know to what extent. Why do we not know to what extent? It's because of the information that we have. We're acting on a 2003 floodplain report. There's been no update in 12 years. When there have been significant changes to the area in the last 12 years. There have been more impervious area included. There's been the stabilization project. There's been more silt that hasn't been removed from the pond itself. And if I can get this technology to work, I can show you a picture of the.
Just wait a second.
Okay. You can see the silt that's built up, and you can see the plants that were planted the other year, and here's another picture. So
This is more towards the creek.
and this is more towards the creek. So the issue here is, are we putting the horse before the cart? You're subdividing this piece of property, but we don't know really what the effect is yet. We haven't had a FEMA study on the pond itself, although there was one on the creek, not the pond. All of this leads to the point of what kind of remediation could be done by a new homeowner that is better than what was already there. And we don't know. The floodplain may have expanded in the time since the stabilization was done, in the time since the last floodplain report was done, and the time since silt has built up in the pond itself. In fact, you'll see in some of the pictures that Dave presents later, the fact that in one heavy rain, almost 10 years ago, the water was almost up past the barrier. And that's been 10 years of silting, and now the new improvements to the stabilization project of St. Joseph's Creek.
That flood, that picture was this
Yeah,
year.
yeah, and then he's also going to show you a picture of a flood from this year. So the point is we should get all the engineering done before we embark on trying to sell this parcel or have someone come in and build a single-family home on this parcel. How much money does the village realistically think it's going to get for this parcel that sits in the middle of a flood zone that's uncertain? It may be unbuildable. We don't know yet because we don't know where exactly it sits in the flood zone, and I'm sure the new owner is going to want some sort of new floodplain study, all right? So that's one thing, is how much exactly is the village going to recover from this, and what is the effect going to be on the other properties around this? If that berm is removed to install a new home, then my client's home is going to be inundated with water, because that water, when you'll see it in the pictures that he shows you later, comes right up to the top of that berm, all right? In April, you guys passed a sales tax, all right? Money from that sales tax should be utilized to offset the SSA in this. Or at least we should make a determination as to how much the village will get from the potential sale of the property, and then take that portion of the sales tax and put it aside for the SSA until we have determined what the engineering is in all of this. You know, let's get a new and updated flood study on this to see if the flood zone is expanded. You know, let's get a FEMA study on the pond itself and not just the creek, and let's determine what the new stabilization of St. Joseph Creek does in relation to more water coming into this retention area and affecting the neighbors around the property. With that being said, I'll turn it over to Dave for his presentation. And he'll show you some pictures of the area so you get a better understanding.
Yeah, primarily I'm going to be just showing pictures here to give you a better understanding of this project and what is happening in the area. This drawing here, this is where the water starts, Muddy Waters Park, and then we have the Eagle Creek Pond, and then this is the St. Joseph Creek. This is where the stabilization project has been, they've completed that project. And this is the pond. This is the retention pond, and my house is right there on the retention pond. But over the years, we've had flooding problems. We've had flooding problems on 63rd. We know about the flooding problems on St. Joseph's Creek. We've had flooding on Brookside here, and we also have, I got a picture of flooding on 61st Street. Now, this next picture here, this is a picture, my house is actually over here. This is a hill that's preventing water going into my property. I actually do not have a sub pump. And the reason I don't need a sub pump is because I have this barrier. This is not natural to the property. This was built. It was put there for that purpose, to keep water from coming onto my property. I just want to go over the drainage that comes into the pond. This is one of the drainages. There's 4 in total. This is another one. These ones are on the south side. And this is the last one. But there's 4 drainages draining right into the pond there. And you get water not only from the creek and the muddy water and the rain coming down, but also the drainage from these 4 drainage areas. Now, this is the drainage out of the pond. This is a 36-inch diameter pipe, and this is where the water is draining out. It drains out there right onto the other side of 61st Street. And what happens when we have a heavy rainfall, this is what happens. You can see right here, there's flooding, and this actually was this year. This is, and you can see the street here on 61st, it's coming over. It's actually going to this side where the creek starts up again. Now this is a picture of the hill. It hasn't rained, but this is what...
This, I'm sorry.
Sure. But my house is right here,
his
too.
home. This is a berm that's part of the retention system. This is the berm that covers the lot that will be subdivided. So in order to build a single-family home, this berm would have to be eliminated. And you'll see in further pictures that elimination of this berm would inundate not only this house, but the neighbors next to it, too.
Okay. Now, these pictures were taken this year in June. This is the same area. You can see how much water is flooded into here. It's even going towards Brookside.
And this was before the completion of the stabilization project. The stabilization project actually makes St. Joseph's Creek more efficient in delivering water from Eagle Pond, or Creek, I'm sorry, to this area. So if there's a heavy rain, we would expect that this would this inundation of water will be even higher. That's why it's necessary to get a new flood study on this, to see if the floodplain is actually expanded now as a result of this new stabilization.
And this shows you even in the creek area how much water is coming in here.
All these trees now that were blocking the entrance are gone. Those trees prevented water to some extent from coming into the retention area. So now there's even more water coming in, and we need to know what the effects are. That's all we're saying. I mean, it may be that a situation could be worked out with the sale of the lot, but we should get the engineering done first before the village rushes into subdividing and selling the property.
Well, go ahead. We're not selling it tonight, but go ahead.
Well, subdividing with the
Just
eventual
a step
intent
away
to it.
before we sell it, but go ahead.
Yes. And I think that's it.
Okay, thank you. And I'll ask Manager May, I know he jotted a couple things down.
Yeah, I would, in perspective, I'm a civil engineer also, so I'm speaking to, an entire experience here, not just, for purposes of, your comments tonight. Everything you said, I'll just say we agree with, and I can answer maybe 80% of it tonight. As far as doing the engineering first, it was done first. Before we ever got, how long ago did we start this thing? It was like 7 or 8 years that Willsburg Kelsey is actually the consultant working with DuPage County, who has the jurisdictional authority over what they would call waters of the U.S. in DuPage County through a relationship with FEMA. So that has been done, and any stormwater management, if something were to be built on that parcel, has to be done also not only for the reasons you're describing, but to protect the home itself that's being built. So that is not being ignored, so I hope you're understanding of that. As far as having outdated FEMA information, you're absolutely correct, and if you're not aware, DuPage County, again, with this relationship with FEMA, has been modeling the entire county and revising the flood insurance rate maps, and that's actually in the public comment period right now. So there are new maps developed and out, studied by the county, modeled by the county, I should say, based on all the information that they have. They've already had public meetings, both for municipalities as well as the general public, and it's in a public comment period. These new maps, there are some areas in Westmont that are now in floodplain that weren't before. This isn't one of them, and I can kind of explain why that would be too. Regardless of the amount of silt in the basin might will influence how fast and over what period of time it gets to high water level, but the actual high water level of that is controlled by the street. Once the capacity of that 36-inch pipe that you showed is exceeded, it builds up, and its high water level is controlled by 61st Street before it overtops and runs, and nobody's more familiar with that than Trustee Nero, who lived very near to it. And then that runs downstream. Now, if you go far enough back to April of 2012, that was significant, that the whole creek all the way through the Park District, all the way through the village of Downers Grove, all the way to Mississippi River was backed up and running slow, but still the high water level is governed by that. So with or without filling or new construction or whatever the amount of source of water is, if you feel that there's more water, there isn't. I mean, the watershed is a fixed size, whatever falls out of the sky is the same, and it all ends up down there. The rate of time might change, but the amount of water is the same. And so I know you're not comfortable with it, but it has been looked at, and we're, like any situation that would be, looked at and studied. So I want you to be satisfied that, that has been done.
Well, the question is the new data that DuPage is studying, does it include the new work that's been done to St. Joseph's Creek? And I think that while yes, under normal circumstances, you are correct that there's a certain amount of water that comes in, a height level that's achieved, and, you know, it goes away at a certain amount of time. Under certain events, like the 2013 floods, it doesn't work that way, because the drainage is inundated from other impervious areas and the amount of water they're getting. And in that case, at least in the 2013 case, this area was able to take that extra water and not flood my client's house and surrounding houses. The question is, what is the effect now that you're going to subdivide and eventually sell and build a house on there? That's going to change, and that's the concern we have, is we don't know what the effect is going to be. And our models are outdated. They have to be updated.
I think he's got an answer for you,
Well,
or at least a
well,
answer.
we do know, and the project that we're talking about is merely a stream bank stabilization project. That, too, was designed by Wilsberg Kelsey. It, too, required a extensive permitting system with DuPage County, the Army Corps of Engineers, and that, everything you're describing was looked at. And in fact, looked at so much so that our design and our work had to be done in a certain way so that the before and after is unchanged. And that's the purpose of doing it. The goal of the project was just to keep the properties from continuing to erode and have all that silt end up down, you know, in the pond. So, I can't describe it any differently other than those things do get looked at. We agree with what you're saying, and we watch that.
And my other question would be, why is it necessary to offset the cost? And I understand it's an honorable thing to prevent taxpayers from having to pay costs, but why does it have to be offset with the sale of a property? Why not with the new sales tax that was instituted in April of 2015?
Well, we've got $30 million of other projects to do.
And it's not honorable, it's a
It's a
flat-out
mandate.
responsibility,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
to be prudent with that. And before this project ever got started, that was part of the agreement, and that was the direction, and this has been through the court too, as far as getting everybody's cooperation, and the little fingers of that creek were subdivided and turned over to each property owner. So there's a very complex 9, 10, 11-party agreement, of which that is one of the directions.
Do I have a question? Yeah, I'm going to ask the trustees now.
I have one for either Jill or Steve. Were these gentlemen at Planning and Zoning, did they present this testimony under oath?
I don't even know, was it a planning and zoning item?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, for the
It was.
subdivision.
Because they made a unanimous recommendation, and the question is, did they present this testimony where they were sworn in under oath? There's a big difference
Wow.
between being sworn in and giving the testimony and just standing up here and saying
Sure.
what you want to say, and that's why I'm asking that question.
I can answer. The neighbors were present at that meeting, and they were sworn in under oath, but the commission voted positively because it was about a subdivision, which is separate from
Okay.
with these.
But they're bringing,
Stormwater
okay, thank
concerns.
you.
Yeah.
Additional comments?
Just a couple comments, Mayor, on a few of the points that were mentioned. I disagree with what was stated. I think everything that we have done with that area has done nothing but improved this flooding situation since the FEMA maps of 2003. I think the stream bank stabilization helped. I think the planning of the plants helped. I think the county's clean-out program helped. That swept all the way through Twin Lakes from 63rd Street. I think that improved it. I think the Cumner Road, which was mentioned earlier in this meeting, the Green Infrastructure Project, where instead of all the water carrying down right to St. Joseph Street will now soak into the ground, all going to have a positive effect on it. Also, the new maps, and I'll show you after the meeting, I looked it up while you were chatting, does not show the properties anywhere, like Steve said, in the flood zone. It's not in it, in the new maps, which the new maps were enlarged in that area significantly. This area is completely out of it. I'm no engineer by trade, but I've lived there for a long time. I don't live there anymore. I spend a lot of time in that area, a lot of time in that creek. I know it very well. It has gotten a lot better. The picture you showed on the parking lot on the south side of 61st, right in Eagle Creek, that where it floods over. Recently, Kim Nickel, our engineer, along with Bob Fleck and our Public Works Director, looked at it, studied it, the grade was not what it should be. So we're gonna be adjusting that, using some of the stormwater fees to bring it back to where it was, so that pond does hold more water. So my point is, everything we've done has done nothing to improve it. I would not be concerned. All we're doing tonight is simply just saying, hey, it's a potential that we can sell it. Obviously, it offsets some of the costs. We understand the logic there. But at the end of the day, we're not approving any project. Once this house, whatever it comes down the line, is going to come through, is going to have to go through the gauntlet of Kim Nickel, our stormwater engineer, and she will make sure, I guarantee it, that anything that goes on that home will not affect your property any more than what it is now. And that's her job. She's a professional at it. She does a dang good job of it. So I totally appreciate your concerns. I would be too living there. But trust me when I tell you, everything we have done and continue to do in that area will do nothing but improve it. And that's all I want to share.
Trustees, other trustees.
I hate those two.
Any comments?
I would like to just comment that I don't know that any builder or anybody would entertain buying a lot over there if it wasn't guaranteed that they were going to have a non-issue with stormwater.
Yeah, they don't want to be bad neighbors.
Yeah, may not even have a builder. It could be sold as just a vacant land too, so.
Most likely a builder.
Pardon?
Most likely someone who would want
Yes.
to improve it.
Yes. But again, I think trustee Nero hit it on the head. There'll be many more opportunities to voice your concerns when a project comes before. It's got to go to planning and zoning. It'd have to come before here. All we're doing is just set the stage if we decide on selling. And I think you know that. It's just.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, we're taking our opportunities
Yeah.
to voice our
Like you
concerns.
should. No, you should.
And I think that is going to help you long-term, because we're not going to ignore your concerns. I don't think anyone at staff level is going to ignore your concerns, and we're going to want to make sure that at the end, that it's an improvement, not taking away from your property. I know that's always the case.
The last thing we want to do is make it worse. I mean, I've lived through the storm in April. We don't want to make it any worse than what we have to deal with there.
Seeing no additional, anybody in the audience has any additional? Seeing none, then I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Ed.
Yes.
Okay, the ordinance passes. We'll move on to new business. A, 128 South Cass Avenue to Downtown Development Grant Request. Board to consider an ordinance approving a downtown development grant request in the amount of $975 from Florence Dalton of Flows, Tips, and Toes in the B1 Limited Business District. I'd ask Community Development Director Ziegler to please
Thank you,
give
Mayor.
us some additional information.
We're here tonight to look at a grant request for a new awning for Flo's Tips and Toes. She's a new business owner who does manicures and pedicures in the downtown, and we have enough funds to, in our balance, to process her request. So it's up tonight for approval.
It's cute.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved, Addington.
Second Little.
Flo was supposed to be here, but unfortunately, she called just before the meeting and talked to Larry, and something came up and couldn't.
She's out of state tonight and can't make
Yeah,
it, so.
yeah. But if you've seen her place, it's very nice, and
Good addition.
it's going to, I think, it's another improvement, another new business in town, somebody that's coming in and making our downtown just a little bit nicer, and she's a good addition.
She's excited to be a part of the downtown business community, and I think she'll have some nice synergy with the hair salon next door.
And it's still well within the budgeted amount
Oh,
that we
yeah.
have.
Yes.
So,
It's always nice if we saw the petitioner here when we're handing out money. You know?
Yes.
She wanted to be.
I agree.
any additional comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
All right, new business B, 29 North Cass Avenue, Downtown Development Grant Request. Board to consider an ordinance approving the Downtown Development Grant Request in the amount of $1,150 and $3,000 from Amir
Al-Hassani.
of Coco Froyo?
Froyo.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And Immediate Care Center of Westmont in the B1 Limited Business District. Next time, I'm just going to have Community Development Director Ziegler read that.
Fade the names, yeah, there you go.
Basically, cocoa stands for chocolate and Froyo is for frozen yogurt.
I see a lot of people there already, but go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that we were walking by yesterday and just admiring how nicely all the decor is looking. And I know Dr. A is excited about being in town on Thursdays so that he can, have his wares out for display while everybody's walking around, and it's starting to go well. And he's here tonight to request a grant for both his new awnings, which are bright and colorful and look nice on the front. And he also did a significant portion of life safety improvements inside. He's requesting his matching grant, but he spent significantly more than what he's eligible to request, so. And if you have anything to add?
Do I
you go
have,
ahead.
do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Barry.
Second, Addington.
Motion been made and second to approve. On the question, I'll give you an opportunity now to maybe say some additional.
We're happy to be part of the community, and tentatively, we're having the grand opening, cut and ribbon, coming up on the 21st of September. And hopefully we'll have the immediate care opening as well near that time. If not, maybe in October sometime. And again, things are going great, and we're happy to serve the community.
Let me say that if you get a chance to go down there when the good doctor is there, he'll give you a tour of what they're doing in the back, and you'll be very impressed. They've done a remarkable amount of work and very bright, and it's going to work out to be, I think, real nice. We're glad to have you, and I can attest through my grandchildren that the yogurt is good.
Yeah. Well, like we said, we promised quality, and that's what we like to serve all the time in terms of frozen yogurt or immediate care.
I'll tell you, Dr. A, from the first time you came to the EDC, I was very excited to have you come to the community. And I think it was about a month or two ago on a Friday evening, my daughter and I were walking and noticed you physically working on the building at, 7:30, 8 o'clock on a Friday night. And I just reassured me that this is the right guy for our town and to be downtown. So really appreciate what you're doing down there.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Any additional comments, questions? I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
All right, we'll look forward to that opening, ribbon cutting.
Can't wait.
All right, thank you.
Maybe later.
About 45
Yeah,
minutes.
a little bit. New business C, Environmental Services, St. Joseph's Creek Stream Bank Stabilization Project. Board to consider an ordinance approving an agreement with Wills Burke Kelsley Associates for the environmental monitoring services on the St. Joseph's Creek Stream Bank Stabilization Project that was constructed in 2015. Manager May.
I will not spend any more time describing that project. Covered earlier. Part of that U.S. Army Corps of Engineer permit is that the restoration we did and the I'll just say the vegetation, the wetland plantings that were used, ensuring their survival and monitoring that for 3 years is a permit requirement. So these are the engineering services to do that for the next 3 years in one lump sum now.
I have a motion.
Motion to approve, Barker.
Second, Addington.
Motion made and second to approve as presented on the question.
Question, what happens after 3 years with the monitoring?
Then it's considered, if there's no repairs to be made, it's considered to have taken in its nature after that point.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Yeah,
If it dies in the
good
fourth
question.
year, it's
Oh, if it dies in the fourth year, we'll
I'll
see
get back to
Steve
work.
planting.
No more.
Anybody in the audience? Seeing no questions, roll call, please.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on to miscellaneous. At this point, I don't know if anybody has anything to add. I'd ask if
Only when Attorney Zemnick's here. He's the only time I
Yeah.
Making it easy on her.
I don't know if Larry Forsberg, if you have anything you'd like anybody to comment on, I'm not going to ask Chief Mulhern to go to the podium. No, he's already had his piece of cake as I've watched him eat it.
Nice and quiet over there, happy.
We do not have, if there's no other items, we do not have anything for executive session, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Little?
Second Guzzo.
Motion been made and second to adjourn the meeting. Roll call, please.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
All right, I thank everybody, and this meeting is adjourned.
Wonderful.